I could have noticed that most of you are done with your session 10s. Yeah, that was the task which was assigned you at the previous day. And as we did the previous meeting, task which was assigned to you to complete until session 10. Yeah, I could have seen that most of you are done with the session 10, but still some of you are still stuck in the session 9, and some of you are, I could have seen that's very bad thing that we are still in the session 5, session 6. You have to accelerate those things. You have to complete on the earliest because we are now coming to an end to complete the sessions that we have only the two. Yes, we have only another two sessions remaining. Apart from this, we have only two sessions to complete. Then we are done with all the sessions. Then we have to move to the project phase. So completing the earliest, and also for them who did not complete it, actually it was like you are having quite sufficient time to complete it these days, but you have still not done it. So reminding you once again, complete it the earliest, or else it could be challenging for you. Yes, now we'll start the today's session. That's session 11. Before going to the session 11, I want to brief you about one thing, that is uh, while starting the sessions like from 1, 2, and 3, and while creating and giving some exposure to an Android Studio and having an idea how it's gonna debug, how you're creating. So these were all the exposure we have to give for you. So until now, we have given you an idea, we have given you an exposure, we have teach you what are all the things you could have to do. Like the thing is now you have to take the initiatives. From now you have to take the initiatives, and you have to complete the remaining sessions from now, not from now, from the earliest itself. You should take the responsibilities to complete the remaining code labs on your own, because until this we have already reached the session 11, and you have a good idea of it how to do that. So this is the things you could have should come up over there. You should have do on your own. Complete. If I said only you have to complete session 10, no, you should not stop only completing the session 10. You have to move on with the next sessions also if you are free, so that it shows the very quite interesting factors, and even more that it's very interesting thing on you. Yes, as the same thing as I'm discussing with you right now, the session, what are the remaining session, that is 11, 12, and 13. These three different sessions, what we are going to look next. These three sessions will not be discussed in very deeply. These all three sessions will be I will just explain on the platform. It will be not showed in any Android studios, because like, yeah, as I said you earlier, at all those things you have to complete on your own. You have to take the responsibilities. So yeah, before starting, I have just brief you on those things. I'll just explain in the not very briefly. I'll just explain you orally. I'll just explain you the code parts in the just in the LMS, because that will be the task quite challenging for you to complete on your own, to finish it on your own. So we are just doing the oral parts from today. We will not go any. I'll not explain any with the practical things. I'll just move on with the oral parts. Is that clear for everyone? Yes. Just give me a minute. Just give me some time. There is an issues in sharing the screen. I'll just fix it and I'll come back. Just give me some time. So, yes, students, is my screen is visible for everyone, right? Yes. Yes, as we are looking through, we have now gone with the multiple sessions. We have gone with the multiple different code labs with basic foundation to the next level of the difficulties. We have gone through from every different aspects where you have learned. That's what the thing we are expecting from your side. That is from leave the old, leave the past days, because there was no one having any idea on it. So we have until this we have given a good exposure for you to like how you are doing the things and how it's going to be created. Now you got an exposure that how to do that. So completed with all those things. Now from coming next sessions, if I assign one task, means only that's the not way to complete only the one task. You have to complete. You have to take the responsibilities to complete even multiple tasks, so that it will be very quite good opinion will build on you, and you could have do a very good things on the next coming projects over there. Yes. So now we are done with the session 9 and 10. That is the current both the two parts of more about the Kotlin fundamentals on it. So now we are moving with the session 11, that is build a scrollable list. Before moving the sessions 11, the thing I want to say you that is the three sessions what you are saying, build a scrollable list and build a beautiful app, part 1 and part 2. These three sessions should be done on your own, because because from now we'll gonna not help you on the aspects of doing in the Android Studio, because it's your tasks, it's your responsibilities to complete by seeing the instructions and clearing those things in the Android Studio. Yes, now going with the session 11, that is build a scrollable list. From these three sessions, what you're seeing 11, 12, and 13, I'll just explain you on the LMS. I'll just explain you on the platform, how it's gonna be done, and I'll just explain orally. You have to build it on your own. You have to complete on your own in the Android Studio. So yes, in the session 11, you could have seen three different code labs. We have three code labs. That is adding a scrollable list, which is the first one, and change the app icon, the second part. And the third one is building a grid or build a grid. So these are all the code labs we are looking in the session 11 over here. Yes, we'll go with the first code lab, that is adding a scrollable list or add a scrollable list. I could have seen the session 11. They have given three code labs with the two videos or YouTube videos where you could have see how it's gonna be done if you're not get those points. And I also given a one quiz over it. Yes, we'll start with the first code lab, that is add a scrollable list. Yes. Before going through it, we'll just see what are all the things we're gonna look over there and what are all the things we have to do over there. The first thing is in this session 11, you'll be working on the affirmations app, where exactly like it says it displays a list of affirmations shared with beautiful image, and yeah, it's just a code over there to build your good exposure on it. And the prerequisites of it, just with the familiarity list with the Kotlins, and you have the experience building layouts with the Jetpack Compose, and running the devices on the device emulator over there. And the things you're gonna learn over here is how you gonna create material design using the Jetpack Compose, and how to create a scrollable list using the Jetpack Compose over here. So this is the thing you're gonna look into over in this part. And they have given a URL code over here in the GitHub where you can find a code folder over there. You could just access those codes and you could do work on the Android Studio. Yes, we'll start with what next. That is creating a list, items, data classes. I'll just first explain those things which has been given in the LMS, and then next I'll give an what are all the things you're gonna do over there, and what are all the explanation I'll give you after explaining these parts. So as you can say, look in the instructions. The first thing is in the Android Studio, that is, you have to create a package name. You have to create a new package under the Java or Java plus Kotlin, what you could have see the folder over there. You should create a new project file name called the it will when you create when you click on the package on it, it will automatically show with this line com.example. You just want to name it as a affirmation, so in that part. And they also given a image over there. You could have a look over here. You have to just right click on the folder and new and the package, and you have to, when you package is open, you have to give it a name as a affirmation over there. Then then you should see a package name com.example.affirmations. Yes. Then after that, then after creating, then you have to create a Kotlin class over there. You have to create a data class over there for the affirmations. As you can see over here, they have given it as a major part over here. Name the new class affirmations and make it as a data class. Yeah, you have to do this part. You have to do this part. I'm repeating again. This will be not displayed, or this will be not executed from my side in the Android Studio, because it's all the task which is given to you. And moreover, this is the major three things. The session 11, 12, 13 is completely, even not even a 1%. I could have just explained those things. These major complete code labs has to be done from your side. Basically, the major sessions 11, 12, 13 has to be done from your side. Yeah. After naming it as then you could have see a new KT where where you are seeing in the main activity dot KT, where until this now, where you are building a code editing, you was just seeing a single page of code, or a single code page. You are seeing over there a single folder of code. You are just seeing the main activity.kt. Now from this, you will just gonna look with the different codes with the different packages over there. Now after creating a new data class, you will get a new file, that is affirmation.kt. Then a new page will open over there, where you have to make sure that changing these code lines over there, changing these code lines over there, and also you have to import the things what they have given in the code. As you can see over here, you want to import those things. And and coming to this part, that why do we create a data class? Because as I said right earlier, for creating a data class, because In Android apps, when you display a list, each item usually contains multiple pieces of information. Like, for example, I could say image, a title, or text. Yeah, you have to create a data class because there should be a multiple piece of informations over there. Now, while you're doing, could have watch over that thing, you will get an image, a text, or title. You will get a multiple things or a multiple piece of information you will get over there. And basically, instead of handling those separately, you create a data model to group related to the information together. And also, where data class in Kotlin is basically, like it is mainly used to store the data. Also, and also uh, where and also the data class in Kotlin is mainly used to store data, as I said, like right, and also it helps you to organize the information, improve the readability, and maintain clean architecture, avoid messy codes over there. Yeah, and basically, so uh, you are not storing actual text or image. You are storing the references or the resource ID over there. Moving to the next part, that is add a list to your app. Yeah, add a list to your app. As you can see over here, as I said earlier, right, we are seeing two different piece of information, that is image, text, and all over here. Now, the thing is, now you have to open the main activity.kt file in the Android Studio, where, as I said earlier, you will find the two different code lines over there. One is, sorry, one is affirmations, affirmations code, and one is the main activity file. You have to open the main activity file, and you have to call two functions, that is affirmations app and the affirmations card. As you can see, everyone knows a composable, right? As that thing, you have to call two functions. The one is affirmations app and another one is affirmations card over there. You have to call two different composable functions in the main activity kit. After calling two different functions over there, then where the object should come from the model package. Yeah, you have to make sure that this affirmation model package has been imported. Make sure that below the import list, below the import list, uh, there is affirmation dot model affirmation package or object has been package has been imported over there. Check it once, and you have to call a function in a single particular aspect. You have to call a, after doing that, you will call a function in the one particular string, where you will look in the next code, that is now now you're adding a modifier parameter to the default value of the modifier parameter, that is in the, now you are basically concentrate that you are all doing in these things in the main activity.kt file. Don't get confused. Now you are all doing these exercise in the main activity.kt file. Now we are calling, after doing this is the continuation of code, where you have just called the affirmations colon with affirmation. Now we are calling the modifier function. You have to call a modifier function over there. And after calling a modifier function, after calling a modifier function, the next part that is, as you can see inside the affirmation card, where we took in the first thing, where we took in the first and we called a modifier. The next part is below the modifier. You have to call a you have to call a card composable with the modifier parameters. Yes, you have to call a card with passing a modifier over here. As you can see in the code, they have called a after the calling card, they have called a modifier parameter over there. Then after doing that, they have added a column. They have added a column composable inside the card because as you can see, it helps with the arranging the list or arranging the images vertically in the UI where you run in the emulator. You could have seen those things. It will automatically arrange in the vertically in the UI part. There is no need of necessary of doing any on your manually. You have to just add a column which helps with it, and also it helps with the it allows or helps you with the place an image above the associated text. Yeah, could have paged it over there. So now in this code we are adding a column we are adding a column then then coming to the again main activity.kt file. Coming to the main activity.kt file, now you have to go with the you have to go with the next function. You have to call the next string, that is image part. So this is the main part. While you are generating some images in the emulator or you are adding some image, you have to call this part, that is image. We are calling the image part, that is the painter equals painter resource affirmation. So you're giving an image, you're calling image and string function over there. And after doing all these things, now now until this we have first exported imported all the things, and we have called two different parts, affirmation card and affirmation app over there. And the next coming with the next part, that is moving to the next, that is we called a modifier function. We called a modifier function over there, modify string over there. After calling a modify string, then we call a card function. Inside the card we have given a modifier. Then we then we after doing that part, then we given a column to arrange vertically on its own from the UI where you could have seen the emulator when you run your app. And yes, of course, the image part to get an image. Now in this part, they have been added a modifier and the fill max width. Yeah. Earlier, the fill max size, we are looking for the fill max size where it completes or fill entire background with what is the expected thing. So the fill they're giving the fill max width because to get an image with the structured filled part, we're not having the full complete background, just with the given height or dimension over there. So they have mentioned the height of 194 dp, and they also mentioned the content scale crop. Yeah, they have mentioned this line because just to get an image with the exact length, width and dimension of it, or else if you just give the fill max width or fill max width, it will just come fill with entire background. So we don't need the requirement of there is no requirement of filling the entire part, because we should have just look into the that given particular dimension or height over there. Then after doing these things, now you have to call a text function. Yes, as I said you earlier, this is because all about it helps with yes, as I said you earlier, it causes the it it will call a multiple piece of information. As I said you earlier, it will call a multiple pieces of information where you could have see it called for image is different with the text. As I said you earlier, an image, a title or text, it is calling now two pieces of information in this part. And now in the text, as usually they have given a text as a local content with the current string. that is affirmation string resource ID. They're calling the same string resource ID what you could have seen over here. Affirmation string resource ID with the content description, and you have to call the modifier padding just because to giving a space between one image to the next image, or having a clean professional alignment over there. So we are giving a padding modifier with the 16 dp, and the style, setting the style of, and giving it the style of the material theme, typography headline as a small. We are giving this thing, we are just doing this part, and and now you have to move down with the, you have to now add the preview composable function. Now you have to add the, until this we have completed with the composable function. Now we, until this we have did with the composable function. Now you have to move up with the, you have to move with the preview composable function. Preview composable function over there. Now in preview composable function, you have to just check before starting it. You have to make sure that you have imported this package before, below your imported lists. This line should be appear over there, because you are calling and you're calling an preview function in this part, so you have to make sure that it has been imported over there. Now in the preview composable function, you're calling a private function affirmations preview. Yeah, calling the private affirmation view, and then you're calling affirmation card with the string and the drawables image. You are taking a affirmation one because we already called the affirmation string at the per part, so we are calling it as a one, and drawable image of resource drawable image of one. You are calling this part. Now you can see, after doing all these things, after you're doing all these things, make sure that when you compare to your code, make sure that your code should look like this. What you're seeing on the screen, what you're seeing on the screen, make sure that your code should look like this. What they have given in the image, and open the, as you know, as you already know how to open the split view. Open the split view and make sure to click the build and refresh to see the expected output over there. Yes. Now the next part that is, yes, now you have to create the lazy column for the composable. Yes, now you have to create the lazy column for the composable. Before explaining that code, I'll just show you the output. Why the lazy column is created? Because as you can see earlier, before creating the lazy column, we could have seen just only the one image. Yeah, we was just seeing only this part. It was only the this current part over there, because we have added a lazy column. We are adding a lazy column because the purpose of lazy column just to make sure that adding multiple images in a single phase, or in a single create a multiple images with the text. So it helps with the option of scrollable option. So we are creating a lazy column so that while after doing this, you could have seen these images. Now I'll explain those lazy column code over there. Yes, now in the main activity composable function, you will see you should call a function affirmation. Now until now we have called a affirmation card and affirmation app. Now we are calling a affirmation list over there. Yes, we are calling a list over there. Until this we have just called two different things, card and app. Now we are calling a list After calling the function affirmation list, then the next thing is we have to we have to give a default value of a modifier to the main activity key, that is only the below the composable. Now you are giving the calling, or you're giving the modifier function to it. As you can see, they have been mentioned over there. A scrollable list can be made using the lazy column composable. The difference a lazy column and a column is that column should be used when you have a small number of items to display, as compose loads them all at once. A column can only hold a predefined or fixed number of composable. Yeah, you can see over here the difference. A column can only hold a fixed or predefined numbers, where a lazy column can hold can add a content on demand, which make it good long lists, particularly when length of it's unknown. Yeah. So this is the reason we are using the lazy column, as I said you earlier. When we have a multiple lists or multiple things to build over there, so we are just using the lazy column just to make sure that we are adding the many things in a particular single phase. So yes, now they have been added a lazy column. They have added a lazy column and called a modifier function over it. Modifier function over it. Then they're calling the items. Yeah, if we could have seen the lists, then obviously we should come up with the items of it. So that's calling the items of the affirmation list. They have called it items of affirmation list. And sorry, yeah, and basically it represents one affirmation item from the affirmation list, so we are calling it. Then then again, you could have seen it's come up with the affirmation card. Could have seen that come up with the affirmation card over here, just uh just to pass the affirmation and modify objects where the padding attributes is set over there. So they are calling it because just to have the previous cards over it, just to have a previous card over it. So they are calling the affirmation card on it, and even obviously they have to set a modifier on it. So we are giving a calling a modifier on it. Next, displaying the list where yes, yeah, displaying the list over it. Now they have been Now, this part has been set until now. This part is set until now. Then coming up with the next part, that is moving up with the next part, you could have seen they have been added a layout direction with the value. They have been added a value with the surface over there. You could have see, right, and they have started and given the ended part, just because where at exactly the position where you could have see the start the layout. Yeah, as you can see, once you are done with it, you have to run the your affirmation app on your devices. Yeah, as you can see, they have given a multiple lists with the different images, different text. So this is the part you should build in the your Android Studio. So this is all about the how to add a scrollable list to your code and how it's going to be working the Android app. And they have also given a solution code. You could have just get the solution code and you could have just check it on it. And the conclusion is basically we have learned and we have concentrated majorly on today on the lazy column on it. Now going to the changing the app icon. How you should change the app icon. Just give me a second. is moving to the changing the app icon. Yeah, as you can see over here, how we'll create an app icon and how we're going to change the app icon. We look into this part. Yes. Now I just move it quickly with these code labs because it's just easier to create the icons to your app. I'll just, as I said, I'll just move it quickly on this part. Yes, in the left panel where you can see the project view, you have to go it over there, and you should see an structure of your project like this. You could have see the structure of project like this. Then you have to spend some of many map folders over there. You should have a look into the images. You have to just take it on the images with the maps over there. Is they have given some more informations on it. You could have just go through it if you want. You could have just go for it with they have given some supported and more informations on it. Yeah, you have to just look the maps over there like this in your left panel of it. Then then sorry, then yeah, then you have to like you could have see the IC launcher web over there. IC launcher web over there. Like before saying all these things, I'll just explain you the main part. I'll just explain you the main part over here. You just look into all those things. Yeah. See, now I'll just explain you the main major important things over here. The first thing is you have to import the images. What you gonna add? What will you going to add for the scrollable list? For example, as we did in the dice roller app, we have imported 6 different images over there. As exactly, you could have take any of the images. You could have save it in a folder, and exactly the same like how you imported for the dice roller app. You just download any of the images, and you just first import all those images over there. Like exactly for go to the import drawable, select a folder and just click on import. Then automatically the import all the what all the images you are importing will be present over there. First import all the images, import all the images over there. Then then now listen carefully. The main thing is how you should change the app icon. Like click on the plus where you going, where you change the import or where you import the images, exactly the same thing. Click on plus, but instead of import drawables, click on the image assets. Click on the image assets, and exactly the image asset studio tools will open. Leave all the default settings as it is, and and in the icon type launcher icons, as you can see in the icon type, you have to make sure it should be the launcher icons adaptive and legacy in the icon page, and the name should be the IC launcher over there. The name should be the IC launcher over there, and for below the, you have to make sure that in the foreground layer you have to go to the source assets where you can see in the image. Below the foreground layer you have to go to the source assets, and in the path field where you can see below the assets type. In the path field, you have to just click on the folder icon what you have created earlier. You have to create the IC launcher foreground folder. Just you have to select this path and you have to just click on open. After doing that, now the path will be updated over there, and leave all the layer name as it is as a for IC launcher foreground and this type image. Now your foreground layer should look like this, the layer name, assist type and the path over there. Next, switch to the background layer, which is the second one, and leave all the default values as it is, and make sure that folder icon in the path field. Yeah, make sure that your folder should be in the path field. Then after doing this, your preview what you are looking, the circle, square, round shape, full bed layers, what are all the icons you are looking should look like this. Instead of Android symbol, Android icon, your now icon will gonna look like this. Now after doing that, now you can resize your sidebar by scaling it. By scaling, you can resize it the safe down, and make sure that the resize of the foreground or the background image to 19% by dragging the resize slider is the foreground layer and the background layer tabs. Yeah, you could have just make sure that resize on the part over here. Then click on next and make sure this step to confirm the path. Yeah, you have to just click on next and click on finish. Now, after doing it, how to test your app? Yeah, you have to just open your run emulator on your mobile phones on your devices, and you could have see like when what you are seeing all different tabs over here, Chrome camera and affirmations app over here. You will see a affirmations app with the icon what created, and you open that app. When you open that app, you should you should get the inside the app the scrollable images what you have created in the previous part. At the scrollable list what you have added the images, you should see the images over in that part. You could have just go with the you could have just see the instructions what they have given instructions with the codes, with the zip codes in the GitHub. You could just visit over there and you could have complete this code lab. Now completed, done with the second code lab, that is change the app icon. The next, that is build a grid. This is for practicing to build a grid. Yeah, you could have see over here. They have just given a practice section over here. There is no need of like compulsion of doing this code lab in your Android Studio. They have just given for the practice purpose. As the name itself, practice build a grid. If you want, you could have just practice like how to build a grid and what are all the things, trimming parts. You could have just look into over here. They have look here. Have build up many different grids in single particular page over here. They have also given a code. You could have just look into it. And if you want, you could have just build a grid option over there. The basic thing is just build those two things, add a scrollable list and changing the app icon, to majorly concentrate on that two particular aspects over there. So yes, in today's session 11, we have gone through multiple code labs, that is scrollable list, changing the app icon and building a grid over it. So yes, be mentioning the today's task which will be given to you, that is complete all the you have to go with all the code labs, complete all the code labs, the 3 code labs. And yeah, the first task is completing 3 code labs. Meanwhile, you're building a scrollable list and changing the app icon in Android Studio. The second task is exactly the same thing what you're doing until now. Take the quiz and complete the quiz. And the third part is basically you have to just complete the to-do task, that is the lab and the AADK tasks. So yeah, majorly the major part, that is you have to complete the session 11. You have to finish the session 11, then we'll move up with the session 12 in the tomorrow's meet. Is that clear for everyone? In the tomorrow's chat, as we discussed earlier, it's your responsibility to complete the next things to complete with the coming parts, and you should explore more on it, because now you are having then such a grip or such an exposure idea to do that things. So yeah, in today's session is all about you have to complete the session 11. I might be saying again and again, you could have asked for any time to show your work, to share your screen and to showcase your work at any time. So please make sure to complete until right now what the task has been all assigned to you, and what are all the code labs you have to complete on the platform or the Android Studio. Is that clear for everyone? So yes, at the same time, 11 a.m. tomorrow, we are going to meet there. Until that, thank you one and all. Have a good day. Make sure to complete until session 11. Then we'll start the new session from tomorrow, that is session 12. So complete all those things. Thank you one and all. Thank you.